Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. And if you are seeing this on November the 26th, 2024, happy Thanksgiving. So today's word is going to be, what is your motivation to love God? My name is Juanita Williams. I'm a purpose conduit. I am the link to life beyond pain and the channel to discovering purpose. And this is today's Tuesday Truths. So let's get into it. What is your motivation to love God? So I remember when I was a kid, maybe three, 4 or 5 years old, probably between the ages of 4 and 5. My dad used to play in a quartet group. He was the lead guitarist, and he also sang as well. And he did this before God called him to pastor. So I remember one evening, the group was at our apartment and they were practicing. And I was standing there in the midst of them. Of course, I'm a little kid, so all I could see was from the legs down, of course. But I was standing there in the midst of them while they were singing and practicing. And I felt what I know now as the presence of the Lord. I felt the presence of God so strong at that moment. It felt like God was wrapping his arms around me and giving me a big old bear hug. That's what it felt like to me at that moment, the way I could describe it as a 4 or 5-year-old. And it was at that moment that I knew that God was real. And then I knew how much God loved me. I had that feeling in my knower, which is the spirit that God placed inside of me. I just felt it at that moment, and I knew God was real. And I knew just how much he loved me. So I ask again, what is your motivation to love God? When Jesus was asked in Matthew, the 22nd chapter, what was the most important command? He didn't hesitate to recite Deuteronomy 6:5. And I'm reading from the New Living Translation, and it says, "And you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength." So in Deuteronomy, God instructed the Israelites to constantly keep this command in their hearts and in their minds. They made physical reminders to help them remember to love God in everything that they did. They made physical reminders. They taught this command to their children. The command is to love God with all your heart, your soul, and your strength. And they taught it to their children as the foundation of all other commands in that scripture. And you can go and read Deuteronomy if you want to go a little deeper with this. But what is your motivation to love God? So just as the Israelites taught their children, and just as they tried to constantly keep the command to love, do we still do that today? Do we keep the commandment or the command in our hearts to love? Do we instill this command in the hearts of our children? Something to think about. We must love the Lord our God with all our heart, with all our soul, and with all our strength. And if you don't have a relationship with the Lord, or you're not a believer, I would say to you today, give him a try. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. I'm not saying that you won't have struggles and trials, because you will, but you will be able to go through them. I ain't going to say much easier, because what's hard to us is hard to us. But the good thing is we have God with us, and he's the one that's carrying us through this. He is the one that will get us to the other end. He will get us through that trial. So anyway, I extend that invitation to you. Try Jesus today. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. So again, do we keep the command to love in our hearts, and do we instill it in the hearts of our children? Jesus wants us to love God with all of our hearts, which includes our will, our drive, and our desires. He also wants us to love God with all of our soul, which includes our emotions and our feelings. And he invites us to love God with our mind, and that includes our intellect, our attitude, and our temperament. And finally, he invites us to love God with all of our strength, including our abilities, our power, and the force of our bodies. The starting point for all of our lives is wrapped up in loving God. We were created to love God and have a relationship with him. I'll say that again. We were created to love God and have a relationship with him. We love God because he first loved us. The best motivation to love God is to constantly remember how much he loved us first. So again, I ask, what is your motivation to love God? My name is Juanita Williams. I'm a purpose conduit. I am the link to life beyond pain and the channel to discovering purpose. And this is today's Tuesday Truths. I'll see you next time, God willing. Bye now.